Hey everyone, what's good? This is V Marie, also known as your girl V92. I'm just gonna get right into it because this video isn't really gonna be something that I normally do. It's not gonna be like, solely me discussing my opinions on something or whatever. Basically, I had been off of YouTube for a while and I was catching up on some of the videos that I had missed out and some of the people that I was subbed to. I ran across a video by the man named The Last Crucible. Some of you may know him, some of you may not. He recently made a video called The Plight of African Americans, addressing the anemic arguments of black male YouTubers. And in this video, it sounded like he was discussing, the ways to tackle white supremacy. And one of the ways that he described that black men have to tackle on white supremacy is trying to figure out black women. In his case, he calls black women the black-hearted black bitches that they are. And, whatever, we have to figure out why they're the enemy, blah, blah, blah. And basically, so on and so forth. I didn't really listen to everything, but I'm actually going to read comment. It's more, I'm just gonna read it off. It's gonna take a while, but like I said before, this is by Miss Divine Brown. Now, some people may disagree with me on agreeing with Miss Divine Brown because of past whatever situations, but I don't agree with everything that she says at all. But I do agree with a lot. And one of the things she made sense on, I'm just gonna read her comments off. Hopefully she doesn't mind, because basically, he referred to women as children, illogical by nature, not capable of comprehending logical reasoning or anything like that. So I'm just going to read off this comment that Miss Divine Brown wrote. She wrote it long and it's going to take a while. But after I read this, tell me what you guys think. So basically, she said, when women who are illogical by nature and not meant to lead logical men, lead them to the condom stash and tell males to wear a condom. When women who are illogical by nature and not meant to lead logical men, lead by closing her legs first instead of him logically coming to the conclusion he needs to wrap it up or walk away. It's his dick after all. When we are illogical by nature and not meant to logical men, stop raping them so they won't be forced to stick their raw dicks up in anything and everything. I don't know about that part. When women who are illogical by nature and not meant to lead logical men, lead the way building up their male self-esteem so they can make better choices. You get the drift. Basically, when those men say they aren't meant to lead, will be right as rain. Basically, a lot of the stuff that he says, he kind of, it's counterproductive. Okay. And then this is the next comment she made, which was like, that was one of the comments, but I'm reading like everyone because she made some, good points. She was like really on it. Basically, she said, what good is being critical of black women when you don't have the power to enforce a cultural shift that's needed? You say it grates your nerves, paraphrasing, when people oversimplify black issues. You always state the root needs to be addressed and not the symptom. Yet the so-called criticism, which is actually a smear campaign against black women, is not addressing the root. Absolutely. The person you're responding to is more than likely telling you all to man up and stop blaming us because there's no change that will occur from blaming black women. It just turns into one big bitch fest. Let's keep it real. No one is saying don't take it into account all that affects you. True enough, a compromised person, be it male or female, will affect your life. But if we're completely honest, these guys out here only want to concentrate on interpersonal relationships and blaming black women for being the white man's lieutenant and falling for the so-called white feminist trap. At that point, it does you all no good. Let's say that's exactly the case. How do you change it? You really think bitching about it nonstop changes anything? The only thing it does is tell both black women and non-black men how powerless you are, as well as how unintelligent you all are, because power is what forces people to change, not complaints, threats, smear campaigns, praying, or appealing to people. You state it's not in a woman's nature to know how to lead or make good decisions due to what she initially lacks. After saying this, you then wish to charge black women with responsibilities that you state she was never meant to have due to her not naturally possessing certain skills. Men of all cultures dictate who women will procreate with, not women. Men make certain women desirable to women, and that is one of the reasons they fight for power, reproductive rights. The women never change. They either try to mate with powerful men or alpha men. What black women are doing is according to their nature. What has changed is black males are not in the position they were supposed to be in order to force the culture they like into black women, so that she'd receive his teachings and maintain, that culture. Another man feeds her, supports her, and backhandedly promotes her strong and independent, all things black males don't do. He demonstrates more power, so like any woman, black women follow. Your arguments go as follows. Women aren't meant to be equal to men because they function like children. They can't help it. They're illogical, easily corrupted, unaccountable, short-sighted, and only want to hear what's palatable. That is their nature. You can't run all of that down only to turn around and say, due to black women screaming about how strong and independent they are, they need to know within themselves not to get pregnant and how to run a home, despite all that's going on around her in this community, which I've outlined we black males cannot fix here. She just needs to be a good decision maker. You mean the same good decision-making skills she is born without because she was handed all the pussy and none of the brains at birth? The latter statement is requiring her to go against nature you first laid out as in it. You're only proposing it because you know black males are the ones functioning outside of themselves in manhood. The most realest shit ever. I'm going to read one more comment because, it doesn't really, hurt to read it. This is her last comment. All right. You say you have a special kind of ministry. Paraphrasing, which she put to cats unto shame. Go back for that. You say you have a special kind of ministry. That paraphrasing, you wish to put cats onto game, so to speak, but it's only meant to be the beginning stages to tackle the larger issue, white supremacy. Before they can do that, they need to be informed that their natural partner, who's the closest person to them, is in bed with white supremacy and is functioning as a gatekeeper. You expect that learning this will result in the change of how they do or do not engage black women. After that, immediate action will take place, which will assist them in engaging the real enemy, white supremacy. Once black males stop putting the pussy on pedestal and learn about this black-hearted whore, said knowledge will serve as its motivation. I don't consider that bitching. What I consider bitching is how intentions are usually received and what always results from discussing black women. If we're to be honest, the guys who are either learning all of this or who are having their long-standing suspicions confirmed never get to the part where they're to use this as a motivation for taking down white supremacy. They use this info and build up a resentment towards Black women, then subsequently internalize a sense of hopelessness. Nowhere online have I seen Black males receive such info and turned it into, we must fight this white man. It actually ends up becoming, fuck the Black woman. She's a traitor, whore, bedwench, white dick-sucking, daddy-loving, scandalous slut. From there, the hopelessness of feeling they either can't fight the white man because they're being sabotaged, or they won't fight him because there's no prize at the end of the rainbow. So when do you get to the point where sharing this is actually motivating? From what I can glean across the room, they males use this to sit on their butts and go to every page talking about how treacherous the Black woman is and thumbs them up. We've all clicked on names and seen back-to-back comments in like Tommy and other YouTuber pages who are talking about nothing other than Black women, haven't we? So where's the talk about actually defeating white supremacy? I promise you they never take it as some motivation to get power. What they get from it is that Black women are the reason they don't have any power. It's her fault because she ran off with feminism. It's her fault for falling for media tricks. It's her fault for buying processed foods with gluten in it. It's her fault for the diet filled with high fructose corn syrup. It's her fault non-Black sees Black men as a bitch since he can't control her, the Black woman. It's her fault her processed hair made them lose brain cells as a baby, which resulted in them being shoved into special ed. It's the Black woman's fault she's too quick to sign him up for special ed to begin with. It's her fault the weave smacked him in the mouth when she went into neck snapping. It's her fault she didn't breastfeed. They were missing nutrition, all natural milk, and that titty time. She kind of throws some shit in there. Once they identify whose fault it is, the Black woman, they only wish to talk about Black women. Put up a Black women thread. They have a lot to say. Put up what's going on after the system, and they say they need to go after Black women first, which is really saying that they'll never go after the system. Put up financial topics. Where the fuck do you see these niggas at? Crickets. These guys on here, when they're not threatening each other, dropping socials, calling people's jobs, dropping marriage documents, police records, cooking/roasting, putting up Facebook pics, spilling secret phone conversations, etc., have given up on themselves and the community. They've resolved to do two things. One, blame most of the Black communities on Black women, even when they males acknowledge that they're messed up. It's still the Black woman's fault since she's 70% raising them alone due to her bad choices. And two, use their frustrations to clown Black women, talking nonstop about Black women, showing them in the most degrading light for entertainment, as well as for the world to clown. A form of punishment by mocking them since Black women don't want to get right and do right by them, exposing the Black woman to others so others can see how they no longer need to blame the Black man. It's actually her fault. Little do they know that while others love to see Black women degraded, deep down, no one expects the honest to be put on women. If a community is overtaken and women are out of control, it's taken as the men are weak. This last paragraph wasn't stated to bitch about Black males clowning us. It's a direct response to the notion that you can bring up a Black woman first, so that you can eventually get to the white supremacy. Once the Black male understands who she is and what she'll try to do, they'll never get to that part and don't want to. In bold letters. They're scared to go up against the men. True shit. This is the last paragraph. It's too easy to talk about Black women to powerless males. It's actually doing them a disservice because of how they receive it. And because it plays into their desires, which are to do absolutely nothing but talk and complain about things that should be, never lifting a finger to try to change shit. I mean, they can't, right? The black woman is in their way. Let them tell it. Now, I know that was kind of long. I'll put a description in the, I'll put a link to the description to this video. Now, but she was spilling some real shit. You know, black men never really get to the point about white supremacy because they're too busy talking about black women. When will they ever get to it? It's a fault. Let them tell it. Anyway, those of you who aren't subbed to me, go ahead and hit that sub button. Those of you who are, give me some commentary and some feedback. Really looking forward to that. All right, out.